Hello. Uh, the last video was about certain business concepts like franchising business and joint ventures. And we also learned what public corporation is, which belongs to the public sector. Now it's about incorporated and unincorporated businesses. Let's see what incorporated and unincorporated businesses are. An an incorporated business has a separate legal entity and the owners have limited liabilities. So it's very simple. Incorporated businesses have separate legal entity and the owners have limited liabilities. Private limited companies and public limited companies are called incorporated businesses. So what are unincorporated businesses? They have no separate legal entity and owners have unlimited liabilities. Sole trade and partnership are unincorporated businesses. Why do sole traders and partnership businesses incorporate as they grow? Separate legal entity allows continuity of business even if an owner leaves. So since business is separate from the owner and the business has a separate legal status, even if the owner dies in the case of a sole trade or a partner leaves in the case of a partnership business, the business still continues to exist. That is one reason why sole traders and partnership businesses incorporate. Then limited liabilities reduce financial risks. In the sense you don't have to, your personal assets are safe. Easier to raise large capital. If you are a private limited company or a public limited company, large amount of capital can be raised. Choosing a form of business organization. How do you choose a form of business organization? Number of owners. Sole trade for a single owner. If you want to be a single owner, then better be a sole trader. Partnership, if there is more than one owner, and incorporated if owners exceed 20. Then owner's role. If owner wants to only invest and does not want to involve in management, incorporated is suitable. Financial risk. If the owner does not want to risk their personal assets, incorporated is better choice. How quickly owner wants to start. Unincorporated businesses can be set up quickly than incorporated businesses, because in incorporated businesses there are a lot of formalities to be completed, whereas an unincorporated business like sole trade or partnership is a simple registration or just an agreement has to be made. So there we are, and we have come to the end of this topic, types of business organization. Let's do a quick recall. We started with private sector and public sector. In private sector, businesses are owned by any country for that matter. In any country, businesses operate in both private sector and public sector. And private sector businesses are owned by private individuals and they finance the business and their main aim is profit, whereas in public sector the businesses are owned by government finance the business and the main aim is service. In private sector, again, according to the size of the business, we learned the smallest ones are sole trading businesses with single owner, unlimited liabilities, and no separate legal entity. He can enjoy all the profits, but also has to suffer all the losses. Then the next in size is partnership with 2 to 20 members formed by an agreement, and partners also have unlimited liabilities and the business has no separate legal entity. They can share losses, but they also have to share profits. Private limited companies are formed by issuing shares to friends and family members. The owners are called shareholders, and their liabilities are limited, and the business has a separate legal status, but the shares are not freely transferable. The name ends with PVT Ltd. Public limited companies are also in the private sector. Their name ends with PLC. They are huge, big companies. Shares are issued to public. There is no limit to the amount of capital that can be raised, and business is a separate legal entity, and shareholders' liabilities are limited, and shares are also freely transferable. Then came those business concepts like franchising, where there is a franchisor and the franchisee, and franchisor agrees to lend his name to the franchisee for fees called royalty, and that's a franchising business. We also looked into the advantages and disadvantages of franchising business. Then we learned joint ventures, where two or more businesses uh, come together to complete a project, and the best example was Google and NASA joint venture. Um, and then we learned what public corporations are. They are in the public sector. They are owned by government, and they aim at giving service to the community. Then we came into uh, incorporated businesses and unincorporated businesses. Incorporated businesses have a separate legal entity and limited liabilities, and they are private limited companies and uh, public limited companies. Unincorporated businesses have no separate legal entity, and their liabilities are unlimited, and sole trade and partnership businesses are unincorporated businesses. And choosing a form of business depends upon how quickly you want to start the business, the financial risk, and so on. So that's the end of this topic. Let's meet up with a new topic soon. Till then, all the best. Good luck.